Kismet Health was co-founded by Dr. Cierra Goff and myself, Christie. So she's the CEO, I'm the co-founder and CEO of the company. Cierra was actually born and raised on the Aleutian chain of Alaska, so that very long chain of islands that you fly over if you're going halfway across the world. And she's also Native Alaskan, so she grew up in a tribal village of about 300 people, and growing up, her only options for healthcare were either by telephone or getting medevaced. And oftentimes that was getting medevaced to Seattle Children's, which to this day is still the nearest children's hospital to the entire state of Alaska. And so, fast forward as a practicing child psychologist in the Bay Area, arguably a very well-resourced area, as well. She saw a lot of the same barriers. Parents couldn't necessarily afford gas to come into her office for session, or necessarily take time off their two jobs and pull their kiddos out of school. And so she actually developed and deployed one of the first telehealth programs for one of the counties in Northern California, and really for Medi-Cal, about 5 years before the pandemic, and just painfully saw how existing tools are not made for kids. They're made for adults and business meetings. And so, surely when the pandemic hit, everyone sort of immediately pivoted to what was readily available. And that was a lot of these business tools, right? That was your Zooms, your Microsoft Teams, and all these things. And they're great products, but not necessarily, we had to adapt them for healthcare, right? And a lot of the workflows that even to this day in 2025 that we see are still sort of molded and shaped and adapted to the workflows are adapted because of the limitations of the tools that we see. But I think especially as a lot of us, whether you're a provider, a parent, a caregiver, or have ever FaceTimed with a kiddo, we all saw how difficult and challenging that was during the pandemic, right? Kids are within, let's say, not less than 3 minutes, really 90 seconds of a telehealth visit, they're squirming in their parents' lap and they're running away. They love to hit that cute little red end call button, and now you're trying to get them back on the screen, or you are also, they're flipping the camera around, and next thing you know, it's like Blair Witch Project, and you're looking at their feet or their dog, and you're like, Jimmy, turn your camera around. They're like, I don't know how. And so, I think there's sort of these seem very nuanced, but I think in general and in aggregate across sort of healthcare, we really need to think about sort of designing for the full life cycle, starting with the earliest of ages, right? And that's where oftentimes technology leaves kids behind. It leaves these sort of medically underserved or vulnerable populations behind. And we really need to sort of start rethinking from, the very earliest of ages, and how do we really design something that's really inclusive. I did sort of a stint through Silicon Valley. I was at Apple. Nest, when it was a startup, we were acquired by Google. And over the course of 15 years, I was really focused on building, launching, scaling first-of-kind products. And I was actually in a life-threatening accident. I think sort of it's one of those moments when you get a second chance at life and you really dig deep about what you're passionate about, and what are the things that you want to spend your precious time on this earth doing. And so that's sort of, really how Cierra and I came together about, let's say 2022, I want to say, about 3 years now, to really think about how do we think about disrupting technology and really going back to the earliest of ages.